Ever since Election Day, the left has tried their very best to convince the American people that Donald Trump is going to take away Social Security, that he's going to take away Medicare and Medicaid and you name it, and then he's going to do it without any warning. Take a look.
Elon Musk didn't say we're going after waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare. What he said was, we got to get rid of Social Security and Medicare.
If you have seen what is in this thing, it is so harmful to the American people. You know, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, threatening Social Security.
We never hear specifics, which I find interesting. And what they don't ever mention is that Donald Trump never did any of that during his first term. Donald Trump has been clear from the day he launched his campaign for the White House, his second campaign, that cutting Social Security is not part of his plan.
Social Security will not be touched. It'll only be strengthened. We have illegal immigrants on Social Security, and we're going to find out who they are and take them out. We're going to strengthen our Social Security, et cetera. We're not going to touch it other than to make it stronger. But we have people that shouldn't be on, and those people we have to weed out. Most of them, or many of them so far, have been illegal immigrants. They shouldn't even be in the country.
Once again, Donald Trump was president for 4 years and never did anything to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. Again, they never talk about that. All you ever hear is that Donald Trump is going to take your checks away. One day, those checks are going to be there for you to rely on, to count on after years of hard work, after years of saving. And one day, they're going to be gone. That it's just not going to be available anymore. And that's just not going to happen. But the White House is trying to figure out a way to make sure Social Security stays intact. In fact, Donald Trump could become the first president since Ronald Reagan to really try to reform Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid by finding fraud like what you just heard, like illegal aliens collecting Social Security and doing what many Democrats have talked about for decades, but have never actually done.
We cannot keep our promises on Medicare. We simply must make the cuts in waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare so that the benefits and the premiums are untouched. We owe it to our seniors. We owe it to our country.
There is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government. When there is waste and fraud, you have an administration who should also be on top of that situation.
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff.
Yeah, and I am so sick of hearing those three words paired together: fraud, waste, abuse. How about this? If there's fraud, then by definition there is waste and there is abuse. Because if there is fraud, something is being abused and something is being wasted. So we're looking for fraud. And for weeks, we've seen confusing headlines claiming that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is cutting access to Social Security call centers. DOGE responded to that claim on Twitter, writing, quote, that approximately 40% of Social Security direct deposit fraud is associated with fraudsters calling Social Security assistance on the phone and changing the direct deposit bank account from the correct one to a fake one. It turns out this is costing Americans millions of dollars in taxpayer money. And we are here fighting to preserve Social Security benefits and tell you what's really going on. But there have also been reports that Social Security field offices are shutting down across the country, and that a lot of people are pretty darn nervous when people start hearing Elon Musk say things like this.
So Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. Like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue.
Okay, Elon Musk has also talked a lot about cutting entitlements, which again, whenever you hear about somebody potentially cutting entitlements, makes people a little bit nervous. Well, don't be nervous. This week, we are taking a hard look at this issue in our exclusive series, Defending Social Security. And joining us now for more, Rebecca Weber, CEO and President at AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Rebecca, thanks so much for being with us. So the reporting is varied, but at least 10 Social Security field offices have closed already. What does that mean for people, and what's really going on here?
Well, what's really going on here, Rob, is an information war against Donald J. Trump and his supporters and anyone who's supporting him, like Elon Musk. Look, this is an argument about principles as much as it is specifics. And I think you laid it out very well. We know that there's fraud happening in the Social Security program. And I applaud Donald J. Trump and his administration for looking at this and doing something about it. But it's very important for people to understand that Social Security is due to go insolvent in a short 8 years if something isn't done about it. The Social Security Trust Fund is going to go broke in 8 years. If that happens, all Americans receiving Social Security will see a roughly 23% reduction in their benefits. So here at AMAC, we are the Association of Mature American Citizens. We're sounding the alarm. We're working with the administration and on the state level to really ensure that something is done to address the looming insolvency.
Let me ask you about when Elon Musk, who's in charge of Doge, when he talks about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme, how does that make you feel?
Well, I understand what he meant, and here's really what he said. And I thought he said it pretty clearly. There's not enough money going into the plan to pay for future promises made to Americans. When the program was first initiated, there were roughly 40 taxpayers to every one person who was collecting Social Security. Today, the number of people working is 3 to 1. So the numbers have changed. Baby boomers are all going to reach 65 or older in the year 2030. We have over 10,000 people each and every day turning 65.
Right.
Life expectancy is up. Birth rates are down. So we need more money going into the system. Otherwise, we'll see a cut in benefits. AMAC has a solution to do just that.
Okay, so Trump is the first president. I think it's remarkable on the one hand. Donald Trump's the first president since I think it was Reagan in 1983 to reform Social Security. Every president, including Joe Biden, everybody talks about this, Rebecca. Nobody actually does it. Donald Trump is willing to start that process right now. But I know, look, my parents were concerned about this. Years ago, they raised the retirement age from 65 to what it is now, 67. Is Donald Trump going to do that again and raise the retirement age?
Great question, Rob. Donald J. Trump has promised that he won't touch retirement age. Now, that's what he has said. We've seen a lot of proposals come out of Congress. They haven't made it through the House or the Senate, but we've seen good proposals, some talking about investing in the U.S. economy, repealing the retirement earnings test, eliminating Social Security tax on your Social Security benefit.
Okay.
So there are a lot of solutions out there, good solutions. I'm betting on Donald J. Trump that our president is going to find an innovative way to protect the elderly. This is an anti-poverty program,
right,
and we've got to protect our seniors.
Absolutely. Security to remain solvent. I know the year that's always thrown around is 2035. Can it remain solvent without raising taxes quickly?
It could, but we'd have to find other ways to raise revenue.
Okay. And Donald Trump has said that he does not want to raise taxes. And then, Donald Trump, we've heard a lot about this. Democrats don't seem to care about this, which to me is just, it's mind-numbingly bothering. Illegals collecting Social Security benefits. Talk about fraud. Is that happening?
Well, it is. That's what we're seeing as they're uncovering. They're finding more and more non-citizens that are receiving checks. And, the left will say, oh, those non-citizens have an incorrect Social Security number, essentially admitting that there are non-citizens collecting Social Security.
Wow.
This, again, it's an issue. It's really an issue about the principles. And we know that the left will do anything they can to wage war on our president.
All right. Rebecca Weber, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate you breaking that down. Now, this is a topic that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but I know people are nervous about it. So I appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom.